Hey, good morning.
Hey, how you doing? Can I see Rick?
Yeah, let me get him for you.
Okay.
Hey, Rick, got someone here to see you.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Oh, hey, Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
I was in town, and I have a couple coins to show you I think you might like.
Okay, let me see them. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. First coin is an 1838 gold brick dollar. These were what they call pattern silver dollars, so they were like an experimental issue.
Most people don't realize this. Back in the day, the Mint was always coming up with new designs. They actually tried to get a nickel into circulation when that was a nickel, but it had a hole in the center, so everyone called it the Holy Nickel.
I know Rick, and I was in town, and I have a couple of coins that have really good stories, and I think he might like buying them. Today, I want to show Rick I have an 1838 gold brick silver dollar, and I have an 1857 S double eagle from the shipwreck of the SS Central America. The 1838 gold brick silver dollar, I'm looking to get $27,000 for it, and the 1857 S double eagle, I'm trying to get $14,000.
This is incredible. I love the pattern dollars because the engravers at the Mint were really trying to do the best they could do. And this one?
Well, this is a great coin with a really neat story. So this is an 1857 S San Francisco double eagle, and this was made at the San Francisco Mint. And this ship called the SS Central America was on its way to New York City. And in 1857, it sank in a hurricane, and 425 people died on the ship. So it was really one of the biggest tragedies in American maritime history. So this is one of the coins that was recovered in the 1980s.
Okay, so big question. What do you want for them?
The 1838 gold brick dollar, I would sell that for $27,000. And for the price, Proof 65 example of this coin would be closer to $100,000. So it's a really great looking coin at an affordable price.
You know, $27,000 is not really an affordable price to most people.
Yeah, I think that. Better than $100,000.
And what do you want for the shipwreck coin?
The shipwreck coin I would sell for $14,000.
This one, I don't want. It's a great coin. It might be a great price and everything like that. The thing I hate about coins like this, it's off a shipwreck. My big fear is a few years from now, they'll go back down to the shipwreck again and they'll find a couple thousand of these, bring them up,
right.
And it takes the price down of all of them because somebody just flooded the market. Now, this one, I know there was only...
Guarantee there's no more of those coming out of the ocean.
Yes, there was only like 20 of those made, and they're as rare as hen's teeth. When people come in with ancient coins, I call them one of my experts. But these are the kinds of coins I deal on a regular basis for years and years and years. So they're in my wheelhouse. So I know exactly what these coins are, and I don't need to call anybody in because I know what I'm dealing with. Would you take 22 grand for it?
No, I couldn't do that. It's you know, it's a great coin, and I'd be losing money at that. So.
I mean, I am buying this for myself. Okay,
oh,
so, you know, because I collect these kind of coins, and I don't,
right.
I mean, what's your best price?
Very, very best price I would do, I would sell it for $25,000.
So we got a deal at 24?
If you're buying it for yourself, I would sell it for the $24,000.
All right, sweet, we got a deal.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay,
Thanks.
Even though it's for myself, we still got to do paperwork. So you want to go over there?
I'll do it. Okay.
I'll write you up.
That sounds good. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, bring them both with you.
Okay.
I just won't tell my wife about it.
So what do we have here?
I have a 1965 Danelectro Longhorn bass owned by John Entwistle of The Who.
Seriously?
One of his first basses that he ever owned.
That is amazing. The Who is one of the greatest rock bands ever. Do you mind if I pick it up?
No, go ahead.
Can you picture me on stage?
I've never seen somebody make a bass guitar look so uncool in my entire life.
John Entwistle, he was voted bass player of the millennium amongst his contemporaries. I'd like to get about $50,000 for it. I was married recently and decided, well, we could use the money for some other things like a home.
It's a pretty amazing guitar, I'll give you that. All the other kids were listening to Led Zeppelin, I was listening to The Who.
They're part of the English invasion, right?
It's called the British Invasion.
Okay, British invasion.
The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, The Who, and no one ever gets number 4.
David Bowie.
The Kinks. One of the reasons The Who became so big was because John Entwistle was one of the best bass players on the planet. He was one of the first guys to really experiment with feedback. He was a real rock star. It's in remarkably good shape. Do we know if he recorded anything with it?
He's been quoted in books as saying that he originally tried to record My Generation with this guitar, but he kept breaking the strings and then had to resort to a Fender jazz bass for the final recording, so.
All right, and the rest is history.
What's up with the Sotheby's tag? Is that where you got
The
it?
Sotheby's auction at John's estate sale on May 13th, 2003. It's listed in the Sotheby's catalog.
All right. It's definitely cool, man. How much do you want for it?
$50,000.
American dollars.
Yes.
It's really important that they played it on a song, an album, on stage.
Well, I'm not going to stand here and try to play guitar expert. That's what Jesse's for. So let me give him a call, and you guys nerd out about The Who or whatever you do. All right?
Okay. Since I can't confirm it was ever played on stage or in a recording, I'm a little iffy on what it's worth. I'm absolutely positive that Jesse will have a better idea than me. This is it. This is one of John Entwistle's basses.
Wow, this is pretty cool.
I've seen, Danelectro guitars. I
Guitars,
really
yeah.
haven't seen any basses.
Well, Danelectro is kind of a beginner to middle of the road instrument, but they have a really neat sound, and a lot of guys picked them up and started using them because of that.
All right. He says that he played this in the studio. Okay. I'm looking at this thing, and I'm looking at the finish on it. It doesn't look like it's been played.
I mean, you probably wouldn't see a lot of wear on John stuff, and he held his hands like this. He wasn't a guy that was like a guitar player slamming his arm through it.
Okay.
I mean, we can plug it in, make sure everything works if you want.
Grab an amp.
All right, I'll grab him.
Danelectro, they were made really well, and they were made different from anything else at the time. And they have a really distinct sound and a very collectible guitar in its own right. Yep, cool. Sounds cool.
Now, the big question, what do you think it's worth now? It's not documented, recorded a major song with it. And he's asking 50 now.
And, if you were to find one of these in mint condition, it's probably about a $2,000 bass. Now, with the provenance of being John Entwistle, probably anywhere between 10 and 15, that'd be like a retail price.
This is one of his originals.
It is what it is. It's not the one that he used to play My Generation on the recording with. It's one of his secondary basses. Yeah. All right. Take care.
See ya.
Definitely a cool bass, man. All right, thanks a lot.
Think about a haircut.
Yeah, I'll think about it. That's cool that it was Entwistle's. It's cool that he probably played it on stage a lot, but, I think 50 grand was a little much.
When you first told me, you wanted 50, I had my doubts, but it was The Who. And I was thinking maybe there was something special. But I would give you 10 grand for it. That would be the top dollar.
The bass player of the millennium.
But the thing is, there's probably over 100 of his guitars out there. No, I mean, 10,000's it. It's what the guitar is worth.
Well, being the Who fan that I am, I think I'll have to keep it, but if I ever do decide to sell it, though, I'll let you know.
Okay? Give me a call if you change your mind.
Okay. With him being such an iconic bass player, the least amount I would take is about $30,000. My wife said she'll move back to Texas if I take any less than that, so.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, how's it going with you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous. What do we got here?
I've got this Queen Victoria signed document.
Okay, pretty cool. She was a pretty amazing character in history. She had so many kids, and all of her kids were married off to other royalty. I know she had like 42 grandchildren or something like that.
Really?
It was just an astronomical amount.
I'm here today to sell my Queen Victoria signed document. I'd like to get $2,000 for my signed document. If I make a deal today and walk out here with $2,000, I'm going to buy something nice for my wife.
This is really neat. Queen Victoria, they have a whole era named after her, the Victorian era. And up until the current Queen Elizabeth of England, this was the longest running monarchy in the history of the world. She was on the throne for like 63 years.
Really?
So is this Victoria's signature
This
right
is
there?
Victoria up here.
All right. Victoria, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, Queen Defender of the Faith, to Henry Audrey Gurney, Esquire. Okay, and he's promoted to a major, 1854. This was signed during the Crimean War, which was basically it was Russia against everybody because Russia was trying to take part of the Ottoman Empire. The French, the British all joined up with the Ottomans, and it was a stalemate for a couple years. Eventually, the Russians sort of lost. It was pretty horrific, and that's probably when he got this commission right here because even the English, who weren't that involved, still lost 40,000 troops in this war. You want to sell it?
Yeah, I would like to sell it.
Okay, how much you want for it?
Thinking like 2,000.
Okay, and quite honestly, I have no idea what this is worth. Do you mind if I have someone look at it?
That's fine.
I'm gonna call somebody, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm gonna call Steve, he has delusions of loyalty. This is it, commissioned by Queen Victoria. And this is definitely before her husband passed away, because after that, all she did was wear black. She was in mourning for like 40 years.
So you know what she's famous for, right, Rick? The white wedding dress. So they wanted her to wear like a very colorful wedding dress, right? She said, no, I want to wear white. And no one else at the wedding could wear white except me. She wanted to stand out. So that's kind of a tradition that's,
Okay,
you know, so it's still today going on.
okay, pretty cool.
It is cool.
So what are your concerns?
Well, first off, was that signed by her or signed by a secretary?
Sure.
And second of all, I'm assuming she's got to be somewhat collectible, but I have no idea how much it would go for.
Yeah, there's a certain ceiling on all that. So, you know, I just kind of want to get a feel for what this is actually signed in. And this is typically where they would sign these documents. This is probably vellum or something, you know, that would take the ink pretty well. You see that nice ink on there, and that quill runs through. That's all nice live ink on there. So no doubt about the ink.
Okay. So is it legit?
Okay, so I'll let you look at this compared to the stuff I have on file. If you start taking a look here, we're starting to see great matches here. And we see this right here, starting off kind of like a curved V, and it runs straight through. So no doubt about it. The signature's definitely good. It presents very well. It's a nice display piece as well, Rick.
All right. So what do you think it's worth?
Well, with that said, I've had a chance to follow these through the years in auctions, and it's not that rare. These don't bring a lot in auction, okay? You just think she probably signed a lot of these, especially during the war years. You can imagine how many she would have to sign. So in the condition it's in, signature's off a little bit. It's probably like a 7.5, 8 signature. I'd say I put this at about $250.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yep, good luck. Nice to see you.
Hey,
Yep,
thanks.
good luck. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's not the 2,000 I was hoping.
$2,000 is definitely not going to happen.
No. So what are you thinking?
$100. You know, who knows what I get with it? I'm not getting rich off it.
So $200.
Nope. I'll tell you what, I go $150, I won't go a penny more, period.
Okay.
All right, we got a deal. I'll meet you right over there and we'll do some paperwork.
All right, thanks. I was hoping to get $2,000 to buy something nice for my wife, but I guess I'm gonna buy something mediocre for my wife.
So tell me what you got.
Well, it's a 1953 Olympic Shuffle Alley.
All right, so it's basically just like bowling, except I don't have to wear somebody's weird, gross shoes.
I'm at the pawn shop today to sell my 1953 Shuffle Alley game. I've had this game since 2008, and the wife told me it had to go, and she was never so happy to see me drive off into the sunset with it. I'm asking $1,500 for it. If I make this sale today, me and my son, we're gonna go to Alaska, and we're gonna go search for gold.
So what you have here is really cool. It's a United Manufacturing Company, right?
Correct.
I mean, they made everything. I want to say cigarette machines. They made slot machines. They were a massive company that kind of just went the way of the dinosaur. Where'd it come from, do you know?
Well, it came out of the Moulin Rouge in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the Moulin Rouge. It opened in the early 50s. I believe it was the first casino actually in North Las Vegas. You know, it wasn't on the Strip. You know, you had all these different vending machine companies out there, and everything was turning into a gambling device. Guys would sit around something like this, and they would make bets on it. The same thing with pool tables. So have you ever played it? Do you know, does it work?
I have played it. It does work.
Can we plug it in?
Yes, we sure can. Well, we have some lights. Here's what we got here is the pucks. Slide them down. and it activates your pins for you.
Okay. All right.
And of course, I didn't get a strike, but
So, and it has these little levers right here, obviously,
correct.
that's actually pretty cool. So what are you looking to get out of it, man?
Well, I'd like to get 1,500 out of it.
I think I could get 1,500 out of it. You know, you got a big, big, big item here. It takes up a giant hunk of real estate in my store. So, I mean, I hate to sound like I'm really lowballing you here, but I would go about 300 bucks.
Well, you know, if I came home with it, I'd probably have to marry this thing. So I was thinking more around, you know, 1,000 bucks for it.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you 500 bucks. Say yes right now, and that's the best you're gonna get.
550.
I'll tell you what, if you bowl a strike on this thing, I'll give you the 550.
All righty. I'll put a dime in there.
Oh, wow.
Ah, first strike.
Good shot, man. Okay, you beat me. You got 550, all right?
All right.
Right over there, someone will write you up.
All right.
Take care of it.
Thank you, sir. I'm very happy I made the sale today. I get to drive home without it in the back of my truck, and I'm gonna see the biggest smile on my wife's face. Happy wife, happy life, right?
Hey, can I help you?
Yeah. Brought this in, see what you thought about it. This is from August 1918, exactly 100 years.
And it's, what is it?
New York Times newspapers, the full newspapers, picture sections, box scores, all sorts of things.
Do you have really big bookcases at your house?
I have a complete set of New York Times newspapers from the month of August of 1918. I got them in the early 80s, and I've had them ever since. If I'm able to make this sale today, I'm probably going to give it to my wife because she's going to Hawaii next month.
This is pretty cool. This is the New York Times. You gotta remember, this is 1918, and over 90% of the people in the world would never travel more than 50 miles from where they were born. There was no internet back then. So newspapers with picture sections like this was really fascinating to people because they got to see different parts of the world they would never get to see. Wow. The picture sections here are amazing. The libraries all around the country had an archives with bound newspapers like this. The ads, the articles, the business world, everything, it just really gives you an insight on how different the world is in just 100 years. It's made with inexpensive paper because it's not made to last, you know.
And it costs 2 cents.
So how much do you want for this? Because I could just nerd out on this for hours on end.
I was hoping to get 500 for it.
You know, generally newspapers are worth next to nothing.
I know.
Okay. It is cool that you have a whole month of August. I'll give you 250 bucks.
250, huh?
I really have no idea if I'll ever be able to sell this, but I will probably peruse it for a few days.
How about 300?
How about 250? I think it's really, really neat. It's really cool to a nerd like me, and someone might pay me 400 bucks for it if I'm lucky.
Right.
But that's if I'm lucky.
All right, you got a deal.
All right, sweet. I'll meet you right over there. We'll do some paperwork. I'll get you paid.
All right.
This is strictly a nerd purchase, but I can't help myself sometimes.